Hello, Professor Page and my fellow classmates. If I ever had to tell a story in life, I always like to tell the story to where when I was in the second grade. And back then the word was fib. So I told the biggest fib of my life. Back then I went home to my grandmother's house where it was me and my uncle, who we was like only like 6 years apart. So it was like kids growing up together. And he always aggravated me. He was always aggravating me. So one day I decided to tell him, I'm like, well, you'd never believe what happened to me at dad's school. And he's like, ain't nothing happened to you at dad's school. I go to the same school. I'm like, I said, well, we went to lunch today. And when we came back from lunch, we called, because back then, I was in second grade. Well, I was in second grade. And then we had like paraprofessional. You had a teacher. I said, well, we came back and the paraprofessional was doing drugs. And we caught her doing drugs in the classroom. He's like, no, y'all did. And I'm like, yes, we did. So by this time, he's going to tell my father, which was his older brother. And so my father, when my father came to me, I'm like, okay. Now I started this story, so I got to finish this story. So I'm telling my father, I even started telling my father, I'm like, yeah, we caught the paraprofessional in the classroom doing drugs. And when we caught her, the teacher ran to the office. She went to go call the police. And then so the police came. And the paraprofessional, which her name was Miss Camp, decided to take me and another girl hostage. And so my dad's like, what? I even had my father convinced. So he calls my mom's at work. And he called my mom. My mom was like, well, if this really happened, it would have been on the news. So I'm like, no. I'm like, the police had to come. And when the police came, she held me and another girl hostage in the same arm. And in order for the police to get her away from us, they had to shoot her in the arm that she was holding us in. And they're like, so I had everybody convinced. So by the time my mom, she did her research, she called people. She even she knew a couple people in the school system at the time. And so she called. So when she called, she's like, so when she called and finally found out, she finally talked to the principal. The principal contacted her. And she's like, ma'am, like you said, if that something like that happened, it would have made the news. But if she's telling tales like that, you need to put her in creative writing now. And I was only in the second grade. And let me just say, people, writing is something that I do not like to do. But that is the best story that sticks with me. I have even told my kids. They love for me to tell that story because they're like just so amazed. But the bottom line is always tell the truth. No matter what. Do not make up nothing. Always tell the truth. Thank you.